game was so good.
3-on-1. Come on! For the steal on Wallace. And he slams it. 15-footer. No good. Rebound. The Suns had it, but they lose it to Wallace, who jams.
There are players who follow the game. And there are players who challenge it. Players who bend it. Players who test its limits every single night. And then there was Rasheed Wallace, a force of nature, a walking contradiction, brilliant but volatile, dominant but misunderstood, a champion who had to lose first, before the redemption, before the championship in Detroit, before shocking the basketball world. There was Portland, there was heartbreak, there was a Game 7 against Kobe Bryant and ShaquilleONeal, and a 15-point lead that disappeared. But what makes Rasheed Wallace's story powerful is not that he lost, it's that he came back. And when he returned, he didn't just win, he changed everything. This is the story of Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace was born in Philadelphia, Germantown, raised by a single mother, tough environment, real life, and from early on, it was clear he wasn't normal. At Simon Gratz High School, he dominated, not just scoring, not just rebounding, but controlling the game. A 6'11" forward with guard skills, a shot blocker, a shooter, a player who could stretch the floor before it was common. He wasn't just talented, he was ahead of his time. And when he arrived at University of North Carolina, he entered a system built on discipline, built on structure, built by the legendary Dean Smith. Playing alongside Jerry Stackhouse, Wallace learned control, movement, team basketball. He wasn't just raw talent anymore. He became refined, and after leading UNC to the Final Four, he declared for the NBA draft. Wallace was drafted 4th overall, but his journey wasn't stable. After a short stint with the Washington Bullets, he was traded to Portland, and that's where his legend and his chaos grew. With the Portland Trail Blazers, Rasheed became a star, an all-star, a dominant forward, a player who could score 20, block shots, and stretch defenses. But there was another side, the technical fouls, the arguments, the emotions, the infamous phrase, "ball don't lie." He set records for technical fouls, ejections, moments that frustrated coaches, referees, fans. But here's the truth. He wasn't just a problem, he was a weapon. And those Blazers teams, they were dangerous, loaded with talent, built to win. In 2000, they reached the Western Conference Finals, and standing in their way, the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe Bryant, ShaquilleONeal, Game 7, Portland led by 15 points in the 4th quarter. They were right there. But then, everything collapsed. Missed shots, turnovers, momentum shifting, and the Lakers took it.
Gave the Lakers a 4-point lead. And now his assist to ShaquilleONeal makes it a 6-point difference.
That loss didn't just end a series, it ended a moment. Because that Blazers team never reached that level again. After that loss, the narrative changed. Portland became known as the Jail Blazers. Talent without discipline, potential without results, and Rasheed Wallace, he became the symbol, not just for his play, but for his personality. Technical fouls, suspensions, frustration, even when he played at an elite level. The conversation wasn't about his skill, it was about control. Could he ever win like this? Could a player like him lead a championship team? By 2004, Portland made a decision. They traded him. Then Atlanta traded him, after just one game. And suddenly, Rasheed Wallace was in Detroit. The Detroit Pistons weren't a super team. No MVP, no dominant superstar, just toughness, defense, chemistry. Players like Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, Ben Wallace. They didn't need a savior, they needed a piece. And Rasheed Wallace was that piece. He brought spacing, shot blocking, versatility, and something else, edge. But this time, it was controlled, because Detroit had structure. Larry Brown understood him, and that North Carolina connection mattered. Trust mattered. Accountability mattered. And suddenly, Rasheed Wallace wasn't chaos, he was balance. 2004 NBA Finals, Pistons versus Lakers. But not just any Lakers team. This was a super team. Kobe Bryant, ShaquilleONeal, Karl Malone, Gary Payton experience, star power, championship DNA. Detroit, underdogs, no superstar, just defense. Game 1, statement. Game 2, battle. Game 3, control. Game 4, Rasheed Wallace delivered. 26 points, 13 rebounds, dominance, and something else, confidence. Detroit wasn't just competing, they were taking over. Game 5, the finish. The Pistons won the series 4-1, one of the biggest upsets in NBA Finals history. And Rasheed Wallace, he didn't just win a championship, he got payback. 4 years after losing to Kobe and Shaq, he beat them. Not with more talent, but with more discipline, more chemistry, more control. Rasheed Wallace didn't change who he was.
Number 3, he's the guy. Instead it's Rasheed, and that should be the dagger.
He's throwing them. That's for sure. Nice game. Rasheed Wallace, he had 3 points the last game. Came out with 26. What was different about your game?
Just making shots tonight. Just that's what they gave me. The first couple games they was double teaming or whatever, so I just passed the ball, simple basketball. But
He didn't lose his fire. He didn't stop being emotional, but he learned something. How to channel it, how to focus it, how to win with it. In Detroit, he made multiple all-star appearances, reached another finals, and became part of one of the most respected teams of that era. Not because they were flashy, but because they were real. They played defense, they trusted each other, and Rasheed Wallace was at the center of it. Rasheed Wallace's story isn't perfect. It's not clean. It's not simple. It's human. From Philadelphia to North Carolina to heartbreak in Portland to redemption in Detroit. He showed us something important. That talent alone isn't enough. That emotion can destroy you or define you. And that sometimes the lesson isn't in the loss. It's in what you do after it. Because Rasheed Wallace didn't just win a championship. He proved something bigger, that even the most misunderstood players can find their place. And when they do, they don't just succeed. They change the game. Ball don't lie, and neither does his legacy.